This is not a zombie anime. And you might be saying to yourself, Kinbo, you're fucking stupid. I see the zombies literally right there on screen. What on God's incinerated charred earth are you talking about? Yes, those are in fact zombies. So, okay, hear me out. Hear me out about this new little anime that goes by the name of Zom 100. There's a pretty funny meme that I saw a little while ago. It was something like French people when they raised the sales tax by like $1 and they're rioting on the streets. And then there's like Americans when their government takes away human rights and we're not even like doing anything. Well, I'd like to add a third tier to this meme. Japanese people when the corporation they work for literally fucking works them so hard they die. Yes, this is actually a real thing. And it's so commonplace that they literally had to make up a word for death by overworking. It's called karoshi, something that might have lived in Tendo Akira's future if his life continued to go the way that it was going. I know, bleak, but our main character is an example of a victim of the system. At least that's what I was gonna say until I found out that his boss looks like this. I mean, come on, how could you not tell? He has villain written all over his lips. But he's a young and naive talent that holds passion in the industry, so Mr. Bossman looks at all of these traits and genuinely does the villain smirk, as those characteristics are like exactly what they're looking for, and probably call it easily exploitable. So we watch this passionate youth as he traverses through his first journey in corporate Japan. And probably the moment he realized he just entered a living hell is when he's drinking with all of his colleagues after work. And then all of a sudden they just put back on their uniforms and fucking march back to the office in single file line just like zombies. But I'm totally not making this random analogy to hint at something that might happen in the future. No, that'd be way too on the nose. So they go back to work and spend an all-nighter that is unpaid. Shit's actually tragic. First impressions aside of him, having to work a measly 10 hours of unpaid overtime on his first day. Fast forwarding to a couple years later, eventually work consumes his whole life. He thinks about it when he's off, he can't enjoy anything anymore, and he even dreams about work. And then the thought crossed his mind, something that I'm sure everyone thought of at some point in their life after like some embarrassing moment or something. If the world would have just suddenly turned to shit like in those zombie movies, I'd be okay with that. Although the difference with Tendo is that he actually means it, unlike your edgy ass. So when the totally unexpected and out of left field zombie apocalypse starts, the only thought that travels through his brain is, wait, does this mean I don't have to work? And then when he finds out the answer is, yeah, of course you don't have to work, you dumb fuck. He breaks out of his shell in like the time it takes to compute that concept. He might have just experienced his own Juneteenth. Bro gets liberated by this zombie fucking apocalypse. So that begs the question, how the hell is this not a zombie anime? I mean, I've admitted multiple times that there is an active zombie apocalypse. Well, what I mean technically is that it doesn't follow the same formula that every other piece of zombie media follows. Stories that are like this are usually based around one concept: survival. And so when we turn our vision towards Zom 100, we see the main character outright admitting that death could be around any corner, and instead of running away from it, he just wants to achieve 100 things before he dies, just like a bucket list. This is a show about YOLO. Like, why would Mr. Beast just randomly decide to drop a train in a pit? YOLO. Why does Tendo want to wine and dine in the middle of a fucking zombie apocalypse? YOLO. Like, for example, one of the items on his list was to drink in the middle of the day, so he cracks open the reserves, and then all of those are gone in like one frame. So then he goes out to get some more, and he stumbles across this couple that are having like a real crisis because the zombies are directly outside their apartment. They're terrified, but they're managing to keep their sanity through each other. And then Tendo just pulls up and is like, "Oh, do you guys want some beer? I was just about to go out and get some." This show is not goofy. I mean, yeah, Tendo is, but the show doesn't forget that it's set in a zombie apocalypse. Like, the characters feel real emotion. They are trying to survive. It's just when Tendo starts skipping and singing, you can't help but wonder, what is wrong with this guy? Is he okay? Does he know what the hell is going on? Because the show really sells you on the fact that everyone other than Tendo that is living through this is not having a great time. But I think the whole charm of the show comes from when people actually talk to Tendo. They see that his mindset isn't as crazy as it seems to be. I mean, don't get me wrong, a YOLO mindset to have in a fucking zombie apocalypse is insane. But it makes sense. Since Tendo is right, death is extremely likely to just happen out of nowhere. So why die as a virgin when you could just die with your head held up high? So the mentality to get dreads before he dies is very valid. Bro, when I saw that, I was actually so taken aback that I had to read ahead if this mad lad actually fucking did it. And he did. And you know what? It's a zombie fucking apocalypse. Go wild, man. Ain't nobody can say cultural appropriation because them niggas is zombies now. If we're being real with ourselves. If all that wasn't enough to convince you to watch, I mean, look, you've been seeing it throughout this entire video. The art direction in this anime, the color palette is always dictated by the tone of where the anime is at. And the pure detail in production and everything about this show feels like I'm watching a film. Shit's cinematic, but I don't know, maybe I was just tricked into thinking that since they just did this. By the way, it's my favorite anime this season, discluding any of the blockbuster season 2s, and it just keeps getting better as the episodes go on. And yeah, this is pretty much it. See y'all.